Hi, this is Jill from the North Woods of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, April 13th, 2025, and this is show 1040. Whoa, 1040. That's a good tax time episode to have. Well, I want to thank Allison for this opportunity to talk to you all while she's taking a well-deserved vacation. Are you really interested in Apple things? Looking to meet other people who are also really into Apple things? Wanting to learn more, how to use all of your devices better, and really step up to the next level? Well, I got something for you. Allison is speaking at MacStock this year. So am I. And so is Marty, who's also in the Nosilla Castaways. We are all speaking at this conference and many other people, and about a lot of different topics. You'll find something for everyone there. And it happens July 11th through 13th in Woodstock, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. I remember my first time I went, I loved it and how inviting it was and how everyone was willing to share information. And if you want to save $50 and use Allison's coupon code, PODFEET50, PODFEET 50, and you'll get $50 off the conference. She'll get $25. So head on over to MacStockConferenceandExpo.com, and the links are in the show notes to sign up, learn more about it, and see who's all speaking. The agendas and the speakers are all filling out right now, so there's going to be more added in. We'd love to see you there, and please say hi if you do. You might share this problem that I'm trying to solve next, just like me. Where are you going to put all those tech gadgets? I know I've bought a lot of different items because Allison has suggested it, and some of you have suggested it, and now my desk is filled with tech gadget stuff. I was kind of in this conundrum myself. I had a desk that I was not very happy with, and so my arms are short, my trunk is short, and no desk has ever fit me in my entire life. Either I have to put the chair up higher where my feet dangle, or I put my chair lower and my elbows are too high, and you know what? I hurt my elbow. It's like tennis elbow, but instead it's mousing elbow. And it took a long time to heal, so I finally just got sick of it and decided I needed a desk that actually fit me. I now work from home full-time permanently, so I need a desk that is going to keep me comfortable, make sure that I'm at the right angles for all my joints so I don't hurt myself or that I'm just more comfortable as I work. Well, as it turned out, a good friend of mine was having that same dream, and she ended up buying a brand new FlexiSpot desk. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I'll tell you, spoiler alert, now I bought a lot of different FlexiSpot things. But she was looking for the ability to occasionally stand, the ability to adjust her desk when she was just feeling like a change of pace. Sometimes your shoulder gets a little sore. Sometimes you want it a little higher and a little lower. No injury involved in it, nothing like that. But she wanted something that she could rely on, a desk that would be strong and last for long periods of time, but also that she would be able to have more flexibility about her desk situation. So now we had the same goal. She ended up buying the FlexiSpot desk a few months before me and just loved it. Now, she's not one of these people who gushes over things. And when she does gush about a product, you know it's awesome because it's just not in her style. So then I started investigating, maybe I should get a new desk and maybe this brand is the desk for me. So as I mentioned, the problem to be solved here is that I have, first of all, 2 very large monitors. I have a number of Elgato devices. I have speakers. I have a Mac Mini, the Elgato teleprompter, and 3 clamped lights that go on to my entire recording area. So there's a lot of things on this desk, and that's not even counting my drink, my phone that's charging, and everything else I have going on. I needed something that was going to be sturdy, hold all of this material, but then also fit my challenging ergonomic nightmare. And this is something, like I said, I have never in my life sat at a desk that fit me. I'm 5 foot tall. And so there's not a lot of desks, particularly adult desks, that are built for someone my height. So as I started discovering more about the FlexiSpot standing desk, I started to really fall in love with this brand. First thing to know here, and I will talk about prices at the very end, they frequently have sales both on their home website, FlexiSpot.com, and Amazon. they're all mixed up a little bit differently. So Amazon will usually offer a discount price and a coupon, while the desk at their websites usually just have a flat bottom price. And so for a while, I looked back and forth, and both times, we'll talk about that in a minute, I bought one of their desks. I bought them on Amazon. The desk came very quickly. Their support was fantastic, and everything was easy to install. I'm just one person. It recommends 2 people, and I was able to get both of these desks up and running very quickly, no problems, and nothing went wrong. Everything fit perfectly during assembly. I am so pleased. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind is that, first of all, when you have multiple monitors and heavy materials on a desk, different desks, standing desks, I go up and down, have a certain motor capacity to these desks. If you're going to buy a very low-cost standing desk, you have to make sure that the motor can handle going up and down very easily with this amount of weight. All of their motors are incredibly quiet, sturdy, and you can either buy them in single motor or dual motor configurations. The dual motors will last longer, they're going to be much more quiet and much more stable. The motors are either in 2 or 3 stages, and we'll talk about why that is important next. But all of their motors can handle anywhere upwards from 300 pounds to 450 pounds. So they can handle a lot of weight. The idea behind the 2-stage motor and the 3-stage motor is this. The 2-stage motor goes between 28.9 inches to 46.5 inches. And think about it this way, you're sometimes going to be sitting and sometimes going to be standing. The 3-stage motor goes to, this is the kicker for me, 23.6 inches to 48.8 inches. That additional lower inches made all the difference when it came to me fitting in this desk. I bought, during the pandemic, a desk that was at 28 inches, and that was the lowest desk I could find that wasn't a child's desk. I usually sit my desk around 24.5 inches most times, and you can tell that 23.6 inch for me was the key to all of it. So that was one decision. I wanted a desk that had the 3-stage motor, but I'm also glad it does the standing desk. I sit way too much between working at home in tech IT and then coming upstairs to my office and recording podcasts and videos all night. I do a lot of sitting. Not only that, I have some breathing problems. I have asthma, and I notice that when I record, sometimes I breathe too much. Standing up helps me breathe better. So now I can stand up at this desk, get a little bit of walking around, moving around a little bit so I'm not sitting so often, but also I'm breathing better while I'm recording. So it has made a huge difference for me. The other part of buying a desk is that many times desks don't fit the ability to clamp things like lights, cameras to the desk itself. They have some kind of a ridge or brace underneath the desk, and now suddenly you can't use any of the clamps. That was a situation I was in before. Now I have 5 clamps on this desk, 2 for lighting, 2 for monitors. The monitors are on pivoting, rotating mounts so that I can swing them around and record from either side of the room. And one of them is for my microphone that I'm talking on right now. So everything fits perfectly with that. When buying your desk, there are a lot of options that you can choose from. They either come with 2-leg or 4 legs. The 4 legs are considered to be more stable, but I bought the 2-leg system, and I have to tell you, this desk is incredibly stable. It is built like a tank. This desk will outlive me, I'm pretty sure. And so I have no concerns. But if you felt like you wanted a little bit more stability, the 4-leg desk is a little bit more stable. They even have branched into other kinds of desks. So they have L-shaped desks. They have desks with raised platforms and shelves on them. And they even have a workbench style desk for people who do light construction or building things. They even made a gaming desk, which is more like a table, dining room table. It has a fit table at the top, but then you take that piece off and it has a lowered desk gaming area with drink holders, trays, drawers, so you can put all your gaming pieces in it. Boy, I really covet that. When you also buying a desk, you can choose if you want the frame to be black, white, gray. There's another kind of a different color gray, but also if you want your top, These are single wood pieces that you can get in gray wood, maple, mahogany. There's even kind of a marbly color there. There's a number of different color finishes on these desktops to match whatever style you have. They even have some other ones that are considered to have a chipped wood look. The desks themselves are a single piece of wood. So again, also built like a tank. And along with the desks themselves, they sell a number of baskets, cord management systems, and a number of other things that you might want to put with your desk, power strips, those kinds of things. So they accessorize their own desks. I even noticed just recently they started getting into building chairs, beds, and other things. Man, I have to tell you, after buying the first desk, which I got for my upstairs recording room, I would buy anything from them. I think it's just ideal for anyone who wants a solid piece of furniture at a decent price that gives you so many features that you're going to be happy with it. So then came the idea of the second desk. And the second desk was for my downstairs job working area. Now, again, I had a 28-inch desk. It was very unstable. It was starting to droop in the middle with the wood where the monitors were. I have a monitor stand that stacks one monitor on top of the other, and then my laptop sits on it. And this desk was not holding that weight. But here's the other problem. Again, I'm sitting way too much. So one of the things that these FlexiSpot standing desks can do is they can go up very high. This company sells two different devices that you can put under it. One, they have a walking pad. I don't know if you could really run on this kind of thing, but if you wanted to walk while you were in a meeting, while you were reading documents, I do a lot of those types of things, you could do that. But they also sell a FlexiSpot exercise bike. It's an exercise bike that has its own working desk on it. So I could just sit there on my exercise bike with my laptop on this desk. It has a cup holder and do some work, write some documents. I don't know that I could do some heavy thinking in this exercise bike desk combination, but I could pedal lightly while reading documents, while attending meetings, while doing training for my job. And so that's the direction I ended up going. So the exercise bikes come in 3 different models. The top end one is $499. At this point, there's a 10% coupon. The $269 for the cheapest model. They all have casters. The bikes are very, very stable. They don't move around back and forth as you're exercising on them. And my plan for this bike is not to get a full cardio exercise out of it, although I think you could absolutely use this as a regular exercise bike. It's very stable and can go very high speed and has 8 resistance on it. But my idea is I spend a lot of times in meetings. There's training times. There's times where I'm just reading documents and trying to write certain other documents. I could actually pedal very slowly on this bike and do that. In fact, a friend of mine at work saw me in a meeting and she asked me, "Are you on your exercise bike?" And I said that I was. And she said, "You can't even tell. I wasn't shifting side to side. And so it looked very normal inside of my meeting." So that's exciting. Now, the other thing I can do with this exercise bike, if I wanted to and not move everything around, because again, I have those 2 monitors as well as my laptop, is I can raise the FlexiSpot desk, roll the bicycle underneath it, and just work from my main desk. And so that's what I do. I have a chair that I sit in when I need to not be on an exercise bike. But for the most part, I'm trying to use this bicycle. The whole thing is just great. So the downstairs desk and the FlexiBike, both just built like tanks. They're sturdy. They're probably going to both outlast me. So the thing to keep in mind about the desks is that the desks come in different sizes. So let's just talk about the 2 desks that I ended up buying and what I considered. First of all, they have an EN1 level. All their levels are numbered 1 through 9, I think. And the EN1 is their lowest cost desk. That comes in at $109. I would have gone with that because I don't need a fancy desk, except for the fact I wanted the short one. And when I needed the short one, that puts you into the E6 desk. So I had to go with a little bit more expensive desk just so that I could get the height I was looking for. The desk I ended up going with has the 3-stage dual motor for the standing desk. So it can handle up to 330 pounds. It's very quiet, very stable. The motor can go in any position that you want to put it, up and down. But it does have a computer, and the computer can remember up to 4 different memory positions. I have one for when I'm standing, one from where I'm sitting, and then upstairs in my recording room, I have different heights for recording videos. I want to be at a different height when I'm doing videos. Downstairs for work, just have a laptop for work. And I used to put it on a stand so it'd be at the right height when I'm recording Zoom meetings. But now I can just raise the entire desk so it's looking at eyeball to eyeball instead of looking at my chin without a stand. For my upstairs room, I ended up getting the 3-stage dual motor desk. That's with 2 legs. And 40 by 30 was the measurements I got. These desks come in a variety of different measurements, depending on which model you buy. This is big enough to put all of my recording information, have a place for my drink, all my Elgato Stream Deck boxes. I have room for everything here. At the time of this recording, the desks are $339 with a $50 coupon, putting it at $289. When I bought my desk the first time, it was during a holiday sale and I had a $160 coupon. But again, there's always a percentage off and then there's a coupon. So you have to figure out which way makes it best for you. With the second desk I ended up buying, that is $319 with a $50 coupon. So again, the prices change. And so it's really hard to tell you exactly what a price is going to be, but frequently they have sales and you have to figure out for you which model you need. I needed this model just because I'm short. I'm sure most people could get away with the less expensive models. And you can read for each of the models which motor they have, how much weight they can handle, what size they are, and what colored wood desktops they come in. So you'll have to mix and match for your own taste when it comes to the desk. And I ended up buying some of their cable guides, the different varieties, so that I can tuck all my cables into the desktop itself, which will be my next project I'm going to work on. And now my elbow is happy, my feet are happy, my back is happy. Now my ergonomics are perfect. My feet touch the ground, my elbows are at 90 degrees. Not only that, like I said, I walk around, I move around. I have a standing pad, so sometimes I'm standing, sometimes I'm on that exercise bike, and sometimes I'm sitting at my chair. But having that flexibility makes all the difference to me. And being short and being hard to match a desk to my height, this is the first time I've been happy with a desk my whole life. So here's the other part of it. Besides the 2 desks that I have, and now the exercise bike, I have a reading nook that has, I guess, what you would call a chaise lounge in it. And it's just like a little quiet place where I can read a book next to a fireplace. I needed something for a table that I could swing my laptop on top and do some laptop work when I'm not recording. I read a lot of books for my podcast. So I bought the FlexiSpot adjustable bedside table. I think it's meant for when you have people who are stuck in a bed for a variety of times and you need a laptop or want to read on a book or have a food tray. It's a little bit like a hospital type of rolly table, but it again, also built very strongly, has a great cup holder on it. So in the end, everything I bought from them works fantastically, built like tanks, will always be there for me. If you're looking for a tech setup for comfort, for health, for just the flexibility to do with a desk whatever it is you want to do, these workspaces might just be for you.
Everybody hopes that they get old someday because the alternative is not that great. But I am with, as a result, I'm with Isaac Lean from GrandPad, who's got a solution for people a little older, maybe are a little nervous about technology.
Yeah, absolutely. We focus on delivering technology solutions to those who are underserved by standard technology solutions. So people who struggle with an iPad or have a smartphone, but it really is a pain for them to use. Our average users are 75 years old and over, which is really an underserved market. We make a device custom built, custom hardware, custom software that has everything they need to stay connected with people they love, stay entertained and informed with technology.
This must be an Android platform underneath because Apple doesn't let you do a lot of that cool stuff, am I right?
Yeah, so underneath it is an Android platform. However, we've stripped out all the Android UI, so to the user, their experience is like a totally custom platform, instructions on every screen, big vibrant buttons, really simple interface, easy to use for people who may have never used technology before.
All right, so can you start us from the beginning of what this looks like? We pick up the iPad, and by the way, we've got an audio-only audience as well, so if you can describe what we're seeing on screen, that'd be great.
Okay, so what you're looking at here, it's a kind of medium-sized tablet. For many of our users, it's more like a big smartphone. They carry it with them everywhere. It's a large enough screen to see even with some visual impairment. You have just a few large, colorful buttons. It's not a row of dozens of apps. There's just right now 4 big icons on the screen. I can tap call, email, and then really critically on the bottom of the screen, there's the bottom bar, which always has instructions no matter where you are. So if I tap on call, I still see this bottom bar that tells me tap the arrows to navigate, and with clear instructions labeling every button. Some of our users have cognitive impairment. They may forget how to do things. There's always going to be text on the screen letting them know what to do next.
So what I'm seeing is call Susan, and it's a beautiful picture of Susan, a great big, beautiful picture that lets them know where to tap.
Exactly. I tell my grandma when she wanted to call me, just tap on my picture. We're connected. I can answer on my iPhone, whatever device I have, video call, phone call.
So I can tap on Susan's face or call Susan, either one?
Yep, exactly.
Very good.
And one thing I would really point out on this call app is scams are a huge issue for everybody, especially seniors who may, due to cognitive challenges, may have some issues with credulity. My grandma, people almost scammed her out of tens of thousands of dollars. Luckily, at the bank, they caught her and said, hey, maybe you don't want to transfer this money to someone you don't know. Our call app and email app, they're safe listed by design, which means no scammers, no bad guys can call the device, can email the device, only that trusted safe list, which our family members can manage. So you can give this to someone who's older, maybe has cognitive impairment, and no, you're not introducing new risk into their life.
So does this have cellular capability?
It does. So it's a subscription service, custom hardware, software, 4G LTE data connectivity nationwide, all the app services, 24/7 support, it's all included.
Okay, this is interesting. So how are you selling this?
So it's available on our website, grandpad.net. It's available on Amazon. It's also available through Consumer Cellular and all their retail stores and websites.
So what is the subscription cost?
Yeah, so directly from us, it's $65 per month paid annually. That includes hardware, software, 4G LTE coverage, everything. If you lose it, it's stolen, dropped, we replace it for you. And if you return it, it's prorated refund.
So you said 4G LTE twice, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
4G LTE? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the E in that. So
oh, yeah, 4G LTE, yeah.
Okay. And then how much does the tablet cost?
So from us, it's a subscription and includes everything. It includes the tablet. When you're done, if you don't need it anymore, you ship it back to us, you stop paying the subscription. Or you can buy on Amazon for $300 for the tablet, which you own, and then you pay a lower subscription price. So you can buy the tablet or just basically rent it from us.
That sounds really interesting. I like everything that serves every community. This is fantastic. And again, the company is called GrandPad at grandpad.net. Thank you.
That's right. Thanks so much.
I'm here with Sonny from BionicM, and he's explaining that he owns a bionic knee, that he is not only the co-founder or founder of the company that created it, but he's also a patient wearing one right now.
Yeah, I'm Sonny, the founder and CEO of the BionicM, also a patient wearing our own product for over 3 years.
So tell us about this. So this is a bionic limb that's gone from your knee down. Is it actually the knee joint itself?
Yes, so this knee is totally different from current product on the market. So on the market, most of them are passive, which means there's only bone and joint without muscle. So you can imagine what will happen if you lose your muscle. That's terrible. This one has muscle. That makes a big difference.
So it's muscle. What do you mean by that?
So there's a motor, battery, many sensors inside. So this sensor can detect user intent and movement. And then the motor is controlled to give up power to help patient do something they couldn't do with current product.
So you've got your upper leg, and then are there I don't know, nerves, muscles attached from your leg to this joint to give it the intent?
Right now it's not connected to our nerve, but there are many sensors inside. So this sensor can detect my intent and my movement.
Where's it getting that intent? Where's that intent information coming from?
So for example, there's an angle sensor to detect my angle. There's a force sensor to detect my force and movement in X, Y, and Z direction. There's an MU sensor which can detect my acceleration and incline.
I see what you're saying. I think I'm catching on now. So it's this also looks like it's carbon fiber.
Yeah, this cover is made by carbon fiber. Yeah, it's quite durable.
Now, what other knee joints did you try before you decided I got to invent something for myself?
Yes, before I'm a user, so I use some passive one, which was not so good. So that's the reason I want to make something different for myself.
So the passive ones have no idea what it is you're trying to do with your leg. They just sort of flop along or what?
Yeah, so because it's passive, so I have to use my own body to drive the processing. It's very easy to get tired, and it's also very easy to fall down sometimes. So this one is more safe. It's more difficult to get tired. In the past, my average step per day is 3,000. Now it's 5,000. That's
Really?
huge difference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From how many thousand to 5,000?
From 3,000 to 5,000.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing.
Yes.
So, let's see. I had a genius question I was coming up with now. Can we look at how it's
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so I can show you.
Yeah, he's
So
gonna
that's-
walk
I'm
for us.
walking slowly.
he's marching across the hallway here?
Yeah, so I walk fast. Yeah,
I'm having
walking
trouble
fast.
keeping up with him running
Yeah, I can
across
walk
this.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no. So it can adapt to my speed very intuitively and very smooth.
Now this is a silly question. Do you have to charge your leg?
Yes. So it can last 22 hours for one charge. So I need to charge. Yeah,
Every other day or every day?
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd live in a world where you said words like I have to charge my book, charge my car, and charge my leg?
Yes. So it's quite similar to charge my phone, charge my car. Quite similar.
Charge my leg.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to learn more about BioLeg, where would they go?
Yeah, you can reach out by visiting our homepage, www.bionicm.com, BionicM.com.
BionicM.com. Very
Yeah.
good. And is this available in the market today?
Yes, we got FDA and we also got the insurance approval last year. It's available commercially in the US market from September last year.
Very good. Thank you very much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story with us,
Yeah,
Sonny.
thank
This
you.
is interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
I just love that tech has gone into this area of helping our lives, regardless of what stage we're at, what physical condition that we're at, help us to live full lives with technology right there by our side. Sometimes we're trying to solve a problem that we didn't know we had, or the problem is so minuscule, we didn't know if there was a tool out there that could help us do something better. And this app I'm going to talk about next helped me get away from some expensive apps, helped me write my podcast and my YouTube videos more efficiently, and solve problems I didn't even know I had until I found this app. Most of my podcasts revolve around books and clips and articles, quotes, things that I find of bits of information from a variety of places. And what I was doing before was collecting these clips, articles, book parts of them in screenshots and pasting them together inside of a document. And what I wanted to do was to move away from that and get the actual text itself, start pasting it into my Notion databases and start pasting it directly into my Elgato teleprompter. With the screenshots, you can't edit the section. Maybe I only want a very specific quote, but instead I grab a paragraph because that's what the screenshot grabbed. I also can't search those screenshots and I can't edit them. I can't put my own notes next to them. And I'm trying to create a Notion empire of all my learned knowledge. So it's not useful to me to have screenshots from these books. The problem here that I had was that the Kindle software limits how much text you can copy out of an app and then paste into another app. I guess they think you're stealing the book, but in my case, I'm reviewing the book. And so I'm looking for good quotes. I'm looking for measurements and distances when I'm talking about the Buzz, Blossom, and Squeak podcast. I'm not trying to steal anyone's books, but I do want to take notes on the book, and being able to copy and paste the text out of the book was very helpful. And now, of course, Allison has done a number of reviews about Paste Buffer software, and she got me involved in Text Sniper, which allows me to highlight a certain area and copy out that text so I have the actual text itself. And then I could go in and start pasting it into a document. But when I'm reading a book, I don't want to flip back and forth between copying and pasting and copying and pasting. I want to be able to just keep reading my book. So I needed a different kind of solution. And that's when I found this app called Paste, which is an app that is available for Mac, iPhone, and iPad. And what they call themselves is a clipboard as it should be. What's exciting about this particular app is it allowed me to create all these Text Sniper grabs from a book, and then with one command, grab all of them and paste them into a brand new document or paste them directly into the Elgato prompter software, which doesn't allow screenshots and doesn't allow images. So this made my workflow so much easier. I can sit there in my little reading nook, read a book, keep grabbing text over and over again, and then when I'm done with the book, grab all of those text collections that I made and paste them in. It's also kind of handy for me who likes to take notes on books, so that sometimes I read a book and I say, oh, that's a really good idea. I want to remember that. So now I can have the text inside of my own notes. So let's talk a little bit about the Paste app that is the Clipboard Manager. Now, there's lots of Clipboard managers out there and a lot of really good ones out there. And this one I thought was very interesting. Like most of them, it has some kind of a tray that you can put all of your pastes in and then quickly bring them up with a command key. And I have it as a button on my Stream Deck. So it's quick for me to pop open this clipboard and see what it is I copied. This will collect copy and paste from almost every app you have. I haven't found one it doesn't do. You can also tell it that you don't want it to remember certain apps. Do I want this Clipboard Manager to remember all my passwords? No, I do not. So I ruled out 1Password from its ability to see that copy, which makes me feel more secure about it. So I appreciated that a little bit more. What it is an endless clipboard history. It'll keep going. And it stores the files locally on your computer so you know they're secure. It's not dragging it up to some cloud service and using it for whatever it is you think they may use it for. Instead, it's right here and it syncs up through iCloud to my iPad, to my iPhone. And so any piece of text, any document, any link, I have it on every device I use. Maybe I save some articles to read later. Now I can find it on my iPad when I'm reading quietly at night. To give you some examples of how I used it beyond my podcast writing, is I told my friend about a pair of binoculars a couple of weeks ago, and she couldn't remember what link I sent her. So it's very easy for me to go into my Paste app. It has a fantastic search, and it found directly the link I sent her weeks ago. And now she's forgotten it another 2 times, and I have it handy right there for her to find again. But it tells you what it is you copied, what app you copied it from, and it has a title to that particular copy item. And so I renamed those binoculars so the next time she forgets what link I sent her, I can send it to her again and find it very easily. The other day, it was funny because I had grabbed something for a friend of mine. I pasted it into a chat channel, and then I was off doing something else. And she says, oh, could you send that again? I think I lost it. Well, now it's out of my paste buffer, and I'm not sure what website I was on. I'm not sure where it was at. Aha, it's right there in my Clipboard Manager. Went back a couple of clips, found it, and was able to send it to her again. So even beyond my podcast, it's been very helpful for me. Now, one of the interesting features it has is it's called pinboards. And pinboards are this ability for you to take your copied items and put them together in a collection. They have, like all of the copied items, they have a great preview. And so I have a clipboard for shopping, one for articles I want to read later, and one for funny memes I found on the internet. I also have some clips available for my podcast. Where is this particular graphic I'm looking for? Where is this article I thought was interesting that I could read on a podcast? They're all collected together in these pinboards. Again, endless number of pinboards, an endless number of copied items. So for example, a few weeks ago, I copied a very interesting article I might want to use in a future podcast about bees. I was able to find it in 2 different ways. One, using the search I mentioned before, I put it in a pinboard for articles I want to look at future podcasts. So it keeps all the information I have coming in and out of my life organized in one place. Not only does it use shortcuts in Mac, but also iOS shortcuts. And it works with Keyboard Maestro so that I could do some more sophisticated work with it. I'm thinking about how I can do this process even better. Now, what was nice about it is they have frequent sales. It costs $29.99 a year. It's also available in SetApp. So that might be something that pushes you over the edge on a SetApp subscription. So you can try it out for 14 days from their website, or you can try it out on SetApp. I bought mine during a Christmas sale last year, and they had a really good code for the first year of their software. Strangely enough, I couldn't use the code, and this was right before Christmas, and they got back to me right away And when I told them what I wanted to do with their software, it gave me links and videos where I could find more information about how to use this software more sophisticatedly. And I appreciated what they do. They said, hey, let us know how you're using our software and how it worked for you. One of their use cases that they gave on their website, but I haven't tried myself, and I thought this was a great idea, was let's say I'm rebuilding my website. Rebuilding a website involves a lot of information. First of all, I have a new palette of colors that I want to use. I have new graphic images I might want to use, text that I'm going to put on my website, or maybe even some code that I'm going to put on the website or different configurations. I could create a pin board for all of those pieces of information. And then when I'm ready to work on the website, everything's right there and handy. And they give the use case of developers who are using their software. Maybe you found some great information on GitHub, Stack Overflow. You wrote some amazing piece of code that you want to remember and reuse sometimes later. All of that can store in a pin board so you can quickly bring up that good idea and put it into whatever project you're working on next. And I can think of a lot of different ways that I've been creating boards almost every day of information that I want to save that I just want to look up later. I use Notion for what they call your second brain, but that's for long-term memory storage. Now I'm using pin boards for those quick links that I just want to save for just a few days. So for me, this app has been the missing piece in getting efficiency into my podcast writing setup. I do a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube channels. I have to keep them all separated, and I have to be able to find the information quickly. For example, I have a disclaimer on some of my YouTube videos. Where did I put that? Well, I could go into an old video and grab it and then paste it into a new one, but instead I have it in a pin board, so it's always available to me. This is a great company, friendly people, and I'm really glad I got a chance to talk to them. This has really been a big part of my workflow and exactly how I research and read every single one of my podcasts. It's available on the Mac App Store, iOS Store, and again on SetApp. It revolutionized almost everything I do. And my information is everywhere where I need it to be. I hope this helps you decide if Paste, the endless clipboard app, might be exactly what you need for your processes too. I'm always happy to answer questions about it on Allison's Slack channel.
There's a guy I work with who is known in our circles as the one who buys far too many jackets. I think I may soon be known as the one who buys far too many backpacks. There are two problems to be solved. First, to carry my camera gear, laptop and more when travelling. And second, to not ruin my back in the process. Years ago I bought a Tenba Daypack Mini. This has been great for short trips. It comfortably fits my camera with 2 or 3 lenses, has extra space for accessories, and also fits my 13-inch MacBook Pro. It has 2 downsides. It doesn't hold much more than that, and second, it doesn't fit anything larger than a 13-inch MacBook Pro. Last year, I upgraded to a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and there was no way it was fitting in the bag even if I took everything else out. So, before my 2023 trip to Singapore, I bought a Tenba Axis 20-litre backpack. This comfortably fit the 16-inch MacBook Pro, plus the same camera gear, plus a fair amount of extra stuff for travelling. It also nearly ruined my back. If travelling in a way that doesn't involve a lot of walking, such as a long-distance driving holiday, it's a good bag, but that precludes overseas travel. I have 2 flying holidays planned this year, and so I got to think there has to be a better solution. The first thing I did was downgrade to a 14-inch MacBook Pro. I could see that only large bags like the Tenba Axis would be able to hold the 16-inch beast. The smaller laptop also helps my back somewhat. But guess what? It doesn't quite fit in my old Tenba Daypack. I began researching for a replacement. I looked for lists on photography sites, but I was also looking for something that didn't only carry my camera gear. My Tenba Daypack is very much a camera bag and is permanently divided into upper and lower sections, as well as the small laptop sleeve. My research fairly quickly led me to the Peak Design range. I'd seen several photographers talking about Peak Design products on various YouTube channels, and when I had wanted a stout wrist strap for my camera, it was a Peak Design product I bought. Now, looking at their bag range, I was rather impressed. They have large and small backpack and sling and briefcase styles, even a roller bag. They have photography-focused bags and more general-purpose ones. They have small and large, daily and travel-focused options. The model I gravitated to is called the Peak Design Everyday Backpack Zip. It comes in two sizes, a 20-litre and a 15-litre version. They come in black, midnight blue and ash grey colours, and the 15-litre one is also available in bone. I bought the 15-litre in black. The name gives away one thing. It's designed for everyday use, not just as a photographer's bag. Where my 10-bit day pack weighs a svelte 950 grams, the everyday zip comes in at 1.34 kilograms with the included internal dividers. However, these can be easily removed to make a basic backpack that is only 1.14 kilograms. One of the features is a dedicated laptop sleeve. I paid very close attention to this before purchasing. The marketing on the Peak Design website says up to a 13-inch laptop, and specifically mentions a 13-inch MacBook Pro. However, it also listed full dimensions for max laptop carry, and these informed me that my 14-inch MacBook Pro would indeed comfortably fit. Curiously, when the bag arrived, the sheaf of tags that were included state, fits up to 14-inch laptop. Of course, I tested my MacBook Pro and it fits nicely. What doesn't fit is the 14-inch Lenovo ThinkPad I have for work. I think its issue is primarily the extra 5mm of thickness. It would probably fit, but not comfortably. The laptop sleeve is the only truly separate internal compartment in the bag. Like all such bags, the laptop sits against your back. Everyday Zip has a dedicated zip on the top for this section. Inside there is also a separate pouch where you might put a wallet or USB sticks or memory cards. Whatever goes in there does need to be relatively slim. Next we get to the main compartment. As I mentioned, there is just one cavernous space that, as the name gives away, amounts to 15 litres. You may be wondering why it's called the Everyday Zip. This is the clever part of the bag's design. It has one zip to access the main compartment, but there are 4 sliders on it. This takes a little explaining. If the bag is fully unzipped, the entire top, front and bottom of the bag folds down. If it's lying on its back, you only have the 2 sides, unsupported now, remaining vertical. What makes this clever is the 4 sliders. You can position them all wherever you want, but the most common arrangement is to have one at the bottom on each side and a pair in the middle at the top. If you pull apart the top 2 sliders, the top of the bag is opened. Zip those back up and instead pull one of the lower sliders all the way along the side. Now you've got side access to the bag. Side access is common on camera bags, as cameras and lenses normally live near the bottom, while accessories inhabit the top of the bag. This can be a little confusing at first, and if you don't pay attention, you can end up with all 4 sliders in the same place. But I think it's such a clever idea that you can essentially open a small top flap, the top half, either side, or the entire bag. It's your choice. The zip sliders have sturdy fabric pull loops on them, and these can be unsnapped and threaded through each other to make the zip tamper resistant. If there's just one large space, how do these opening schemes make any sense? The answer is dividers. 2 are provided which velcro to both the front and the back of the bag. These can be positioned horizontally or vertically. Each forms a simple shelf that is an elongated octagon that conforms to the internal shape of the bag. Used horizontally, this divides the interior into 3 sections, a top, middle and bottom. But there's more you can do. Each shelf can fold in 2 ways. You can pop either end of the octagon into the perpendicular. When horizontally mounted, this creates a vertical space down that side. But this folding portion is dual layered, so you can fold just one layer and then you end up with no vertical space past the shelf, but a vertical separator on the shelf. It's difficult to explain without pictures, so the blog post contains just that. This folding also enables you to have an upper shelf and then have the second one vertical beneath it, creating an upper, left and right compartments. The Velcro is omnidirectional, so they can bear a load regardless of what direction you mount them in, even upside down. If that was all there is to this bag, it'd be pretty good, but it has more tricks. Each side flap has 2 pockets inside, an upper one with a simple magnetic catch, and a lower one with a zipper. On the outside are 2 pockets for drink bottles or the like. These are vented, so if your drink spills, it can drain. There is another zippered pocket inside the top flap, and I've already mentioned the one in the laptop sleeve. In addition to the regular backpack straps, there are simple carry handles on the top, left and right. The backpack straps have pivots at the top to better guide them over your shoulders and are easy to adjust when wearing the bag. There's also a sternum strap that is removable and easy to use, but is not going to come off unless you want it to. There's also an optional waist belt. There are external carry strap anchors around the bag that enable you to tie loads to the outside of the bag. Inside the 2 outer pockets there are straps already attached which you can easily pull out and form an X over the front of the pack. This is great for carrying a folded jacket, for instance. You can purchase additional straps to tie loads in other places, including underneath. In one of the side pockets there is an anchor link. This is a snap connector that is used on multiple Peak Design products. That is essentially a tether with a connector that snaps together in the middle. This is easy to connect and disconnect, but will not do so by itself. It is looped non-permanently around the side handle, and they suggest you can attach your keys to this and tuck them away in the pocket. If wearing the backpack when you arrive at your door, you won't even need to disconnect them, as the tether is stretchy. The hand strap I bought for my camera uses the same type of tether. That's about it for features, but then there are the credentials. Oh, I suppose the 400 denier weatherproof nylon outer is a feature, and the 900 denier bottom surface, so you can place it on a wet surface. But the fact it is 100% made from recycled material is a credential. Oh, and the outer zips are weatherproof too. The bag is also Fairtrade certified and 100% carbon neutral. Durability is built in, but if anything does break, it has a lifetime warranty if registered after purchase. The Peak Design Everyday Backpack Zip 15 litre is available for $199.95 or $229.95 for the 20 litre version. You can purchase from Peak Design directly or from many good photographic stores. When I was purchasing my new Peak Design Everyday Backpack Zip, I made sure to add another Peak Design product to my cart. I'd seen it mentioned previously, but the product demo for the backpack explicitly mentioned its use on the backpack. The product is the Peak Design Capture. The problem it solves is how to carry your camera when you're not actually using it, but might at any moment. I had previously purchased the Peak Design Cuff, which is a sturdy wrist strap that attaches to my camera quickly and easily with one of Peak Design's anchor links. This is a snap connector that is used on multiple Peak Design products that is essentially a tether with a connector that snaps together in the middle. This is easy to connect and disconnect, but will not do so by itself. The wrist strap is great for a quick session. It ensures I won't drop my camera onto the ground, but it does mean I am always carrying it. For longer sessions, I want something more hands-free. This role has previously been filled by a Black Rapid Blackline body strap. Unlike many body straps, this has an under-shoulder strap which stops it rotating around my body. But it's difficult to get the camera attachment high enough not to risk my junk when using my giant telephoto lens. The camera also tends to move around a lot. I have walked over a kilometre on a rough track with frequent elevation changes, and I've not been concerned with the safety of the camera. However, the bouncing around means I often ended up cradling the end of the lens at times. The Peak Design Capture solves this quite cleverly, though with the caveat that the capture alone will not do the job. It must be attached to something, like, say, a backpack strap. Capture has 2 parts. The first is an Arca standard quick-release tripod plate, which you firmly attach to the bottom of your camera using the tripod mounting hole. This attachment is solid thanks to a hex drive bolt that you can tighten with the supplied Allen key. The second part is the functional one. They call it a clip, and it comprises essentially two metal plates which sandwich around the backpack strap, or a belt or other kind of strap. These two sides are held together by strong thumb bolts, or optionally 2 more hex drive bolts for a more permanent mount. When I attached it to my backpack strap, I used the hex drive bolts for a more permanent mount, though also the thumb bolts seemed like they were barely long enough to account for the strap thickness. Once securely attached somewhere, this clip serves as a docking station for the tripod plate. You slide the plate into the clip, and a spring-loaded locking pin automatically grabs it securely. Although you can only slide the plate into one side of the clip, because the plate is square, it can be in any of 4 orientations. This fact is useful depending on mounting direction. On a backpack strap, you slide down from the top. On your belt, in from behind. In either case, you can ensure your heavy lens faces downwards, or if you have a light lens, that your heavy battery compartment faces downwards. Removing the camera from the clip is achieved by pressing in a release pin on the side when strap mounted, or bottom when belt mounted. Technically you can have the clip any way up, but these are the recommended configurations. The release pin can be rotated through 90 degrees to prevent inadvertent release, although the amount of travel required suggests this is unlikely. The removal can feel a little fiddly and like it needs 2 hands. The company's demo video suggests that, with practice, it's practical to do one-handed. I'm still in the two-handed phase. Inserting the camera is really simple. There is a little attention required to alignment, but once you get that right, it seats with a resounding click. Given the ease of insertion, you might wonder how securely the camera is attached. The demo videos I've watched show the user repeatedly and energetically jumping on the spot with nothing holding the camera but the clip. This tiny 84-gram clip can safely hold well over 90 kilograms of weight. Back to my problem statement. How does this work for my long carry situations? The answer is very well. It achieves this in 2 ways. First, it is stupidly simple to insert the camera when I'm ready to do some walking, and once it's attached, I have both hands free with zero concern the camera needs any more support for safety. Second, the clip is positioned just below my collarbone. This means with a short lens, the camera sits against my chest and doesn't really bounce much. With my giant lens, the tip of the lens is down over my stomach, but because so much of its length is against my chest, it doesn't move anywhere near as much as with the body strap. What's more, even my arm closest to the camera has almost completely free movement past it. Great for balance on a rough track, or even just to be able to walk more naturally on flatter surfaces. Perhaps the best part of using the clip is when I actually want to use the camera. Part of the body strap bounce issue is that I have to leave enough play in the strap to actually lift the camera to my eye. With the capture, this is a non-issue. When I remove it from the clip, I have free range to move the camera anywhere. Notwithstanding I will need to be wearing my backpack to make use of the clip, I think this is a huge upgrade for me. I don't even need to have much in the backpack, so extra weight is not a necessity. If I had another backpack, see my separate review to answer that question, then I can purchase another clip without the plate and can then clip into whichever one I'm wearing. Conversely, if I had another camera, okay I do, but I may not for long, I can buy a separate plate to attach to it. Capture even solves a problem I had not previously been able to solve. Sometimes when I'm out with my giant lens, I like to take a monopod with me. The body strap attaches semi-permanently into the camera's tripod mount, where the monopod requires a mounting plate on the special foot that attaches to the lens. At first glance, this doesn't seem like a problem, as the strap can attach the camera while the plate remains on the foot. However, getting enough play in the strap to get it on the monopod in any useful way is troublesome. With the capture, I'll have 1 plate each on the camera and foot. To move to shooting mode, I release the camera from the capture and snap the foot onto the monopod. When done, I release the foot from the monopod and snap the camera into the capture. I do also need to rotate the foot before letting the lens rest against my body, but that's true with the strap also. On my first outing with the capture, I spent nearly 2 hours walking the tracks of my beloved Zealandia Te Mara Atane, with my new backpack on, holding 2 extra lenses and my camera with a giant lens attached to the capture. Given my history of back problems and the fact that I currently suffer from a frozen shoulder, on the same side I carried the 2.8 kilogram camera. The fact I was feeling only slightly fatigued when I returned to my car makes this purchase an unqualified success. I even got fairly adept at releasing the camera quickly. There are other versions of capture that fit slightly different needs, such as carrying lenses or phones. The standard capture is available in black or silver for $79, or a special bright orange model co-branded by Carryology for $84.95. It's available directly from Peak Design or from many good photographic stores.
Thanks, Alistair, for your fantastic reviews. I love Peak Designs. I have a bag and backpack problem, and I also use this product as well. I love being able to clip my cameras right to the backpacks. And I'm looking that when I buy a new phone, I'm going to expand into the Peak Design iPhone cases as well. Everything they make is just so well thought out, high quality, and you could tell they really use the product because everything just works the way it should.
Having a brand new baby is difficult under the best of circumstances, and the folks at Evenflo seem to have an idea of a way to make life a little bit easier for the young parents. And I'm here with Matt Lewis from Evenflo to tell us about it.
Yeah, so all these parents have experienced a situation where you're in the car, your baby starts crying, and you're like, oh man, what do I do? You might look in the mirror and check on them, or you'll do the infamous reach behind and try and pass them something that ends up on the floor with a still fussy baby.
But they're also usually facing the wrong way now, which is backwards, which makes it even harder.
Exactly, particularly for infants. And a lot of parents will attach products to their car seat that could become dangerous projectiles in the car. And so what we really set out to do was to give parents a way to soothe their baby in the car with just their voice by activating a light and sound bar built into the car seat itself. And so you can go into the app, you can build a bunch of different soothing scenes, and then you can activate those scenes in the car with just your voice, hey Siri, activate SensorSoothe handle.
So this is built into the handle of the car seat. So I'm looking at a car seat that's also part of a stroller, so it's got the whole built-in system, and there's a glowing light under here. And can you play some of these sounds for me, maybe?
Yeah, you might have to hold the microphone up to there to hear them.
I'll do it.
But
tell us what you're doing.
So I'm going in right now, and I'm picking from a selection of ambient nature sounds. So here's birds, for example. And there's things like a wind chime. Just a cycle of different song options. And then in your light options, you can go in and you can pick from moving light effects, so things like this where it's pulsing, or a changing light spectrum. You can choose from different palettes, so there's a rainbow palette or a meadow. And then for little baby infants, you can pick any color on the spectrum. And so we really tried to build different options for babies as they grow.
So is the idea that just some sort of change keeps them entertained for maybe 7 or 8 nanoseconds, and then you can change it again?
Hopefully a little longer than 7 to 8 nanoseconds. But yes, the idea is to get them distracted and engaged with something different and prevent them from getting fussy and crying. Yep.
That's an interesting idea. Now, I saw something going on in a demo over here that the car seat going into the car can actually rotate.
Yeah.
Can you take us over there to show us that?
Sure.
All right, we're moving, walking across.
Yeah. So we talked about like giving parents the tools to make their lives easier, and even simple, meaningful innovations like rotating your car seat. So with just the press of a button and a spin, you can now load your baby or unload your baby into the car without having to reach around and do that for them.
So he just pressed one button and the entire car seat pivoted 90 degrees, so you'd be able to put your baby in and then turn it in, and oh my gosh, my back feels better already.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what side of the car you have them installed, and it can rotate the other way as well.
Now, how old of a baby can you put into your Evenflo car seat?
For the infant car seats, the weight limit is up to 30 pounds, but that's typically about a 2-year-old.
Oh, okay. So this grows out of, you've got the infant insert, the little teeny baby insert, and then it goes for a little bit bigger?
You could take the infant insert out, both to remove it when they're ready or just if you need to wash it.
There you go. That would never be needed to happen, right?
No.
So is this on the market yet?
It is on the market, available for sale in mid-February at all major retailers.
Let's talk some price point here.
Sure. It's starting at the SensorSoothe car seat itself. It's called the LightMax NXT. It starts as low as $259, and then the travel system starts as low as $649, and there's a variety of different tiers.
The travel system is the car seat plus the stroller attachment?
Yeah, and it's a new stroller for us. So new car seat, new stroller, new technology, all in one.
Is there anything fun in the stroller part that's new?
The stroller in particular was built for on the go. So it has it has suspension in the wheels. It has an articulated leather handle. It has expanded storage with some hidden secret pockets. And so it's
pretty
really
sleek and modern.
Yeah, sleek, modern, lightweight. Parents seem to really like it.
There goes my back feeling better again.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about this?
There's one other interesting tech feature that's built into these car seats, and it's called SensorSafe. So SensorSafe is a technology that we've had for a little bit of time now, and it is connected to the same app that this is. And what SensorSafe does is it sends alerts to your phone for dangerous situations for your baby in the car. So let me give you an example. A lot of 1 or 2 year olds might unbuckle their chest clip while you're driving. So if they do that, it'll ping your phone and say, hey, pull over, your baby unbuckled themselves. Or many new parents, as they're adjusting, sometimes accidentally forget their baby in the car. I shouldn't say many, but it does happen.
Most terrifying thing in the world.
Exactly. It becomes dangerous, risk of heat stroke, and these are all preventable situations. So it will alert you if you left your baby in the car, and if you don't respond to that, it will even ping your family members and tell them your last known location with the baby.
Wow. So how does it know that the baby's been left in the car?
So it's a Bluetooth connection between the chest clip itself and your cell phone. And so if the chest clip is still buckled and you walk away from the car, you lose that connection of Bluetooth, and it then knows that, hey, you've left a buckled baby in your car.
So how does it know? So for example, my husband takes the baby out, does a bunch of stuff, comes back, then I take the baby out, does a bunch of stuff. How does it know my phone was disconnected, not his phone?
Yeah, so you can build family members as part of or you can build a family on the app. And so it knows that you are part of a family, and your phone might be connected to it at one point, his phone might be connected to it at another point. And so
do you actively say, I'm now in charge of the baby?
It's a proximity sensor as well. So like if you're the one in the car with the baby, it'll connect to your phone. If it's your other parent, it'll connect to their phone. And there is a primary caretaker that if they are in the car, that is who it will connect to.
I see what you're saying. So it makes the initial connection when you get in the car, and then if you leave the car without unbuckling it.
Exactly.
This is fantastic. A long time ago, our friend Brandy said to us, well, you're engineers, figure this out. How do we stop leaving babies in cars? Find a way to do it. And it looks like Evenflo may have come up with that with the SensorSafe in the LightMax NXT car seat. Thank you very much, Matt. This is fascinating. Where would people go to find the product?
Yeah, you can obviously find it at evenflo.com, and it'll also be available at most major retailers in the U.S., Target, Walmart, Babylist, Amazon.
And you want to spell Evenflo for them?
Sure, evenflo.com.
Very good. Thank you, Matt. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
A couple of years ago, Bodie Grimm was at CES, and he called us up on the phone and told us about a product called Tonies, and he said, this is the coolest thing ever. I think he did a review for the podcast. He said, this is the best thing you've ever seen for your grandkids. You need to buy it. I ran out and I bought them for our grandkids, and this is probably one of the greatest things they've ever had. It's a staple in our home. So with all that, I'm going to let Maddie Howarth tell us, what is a Tonie?
Oh, hi. Well, thank you for having me. So a Tonie box is a screen-free audio player for kids. So you just put any Tonie character, so Cookie Monster, Elsa, Lion King on top of the Tony box.
Always Elsa.
Oh, I don't blame you. On top of the Tony box, then it plays stories, songs, the mix of both, depending on what the character is.
And the box is it looks like a Kleenex box is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, with it's squishy. It has our Tony's logo. It has ears, so kids can easily control the volume up and down. And it's really easy for kids to change songs and stories by hitting the side or tilting it one way or another to fast forward and rewind.
Yeah, so the ears are how you change the volume, which is fun. Another little bit of feedback. My granddaughter is hearing impaired, and it does not go loud enough for her. She keeps squeezing the big one to try to make it a little bit louder. So that's another one for the engineers.
Yes, that's great to know. And also in the My Tonies app, you can control the volume of the box as well. So that's a great...
So can you override that max volume then, or make it louder?
I can get back to you on that.
Okay, or we can experiment.
Yes.
So what we're looking at here on the table is a vast plethora of. We got a space guy. We've got what's his name?
Coco Melon.
Coco Melon. Oh my gosh, my granddaughter loves that. My granddaughter always dances to Minnie Mouse. She does the dance when Minnie Mouse is playing.
Very cute.
We've got Sky, right, from.
You know your characters.
I do.
Good grandma.
I know. I don't know all of these, but these are really popular. You can get them. Now, you guys have licensed music, so I mean, like the Moana character. I mean, you're going to hear the music from Moana.
Yeah. So a lot of them are fully licensed. We have a huge licensing team that works with people from Disney, National Geographic, Sony, Universal, Nickelodeon. A huge wide team. But overall,
it's probably the most valuable team in your company. I'm sorry,
no,
but
they are great at their job.
Tell them we said thanks.
I will. And essentially, we're trying always to have the original voices of the cast. That's a really big want and desire from our consumers. We want to make sure the voices they hear on Tonies are the ones that they hear on the screen as well.
So if you're looking for a toy for a child where you're at the airport or something and you got to get that one little gift to come home, you've been on a business trip, you want something small, you get yourself a Tony, you're a big hero, right?
Yes. Have you heard of Creative Tonies? Do you guys do that at your house?
We actually did. I keep saying, we got to record more.
Yeah.
But describe a Creative Tony.
Yeah. So, yes, a Creative Tony. So it's a Tony that has no content on it. So it can hold up to 90 minutes of content. And so in the app, you can go in and record your own stories, songs, whatever you'd like. So grandma and grandpa can go read a book for the kids. Or like if you want to sing a bedtime story and have it on a Tony, you can do that as well. It's really popular with parents on business trips. So all the parents right now at CES, they can record on the app. And the kid at home can put their Creative Tony on top and hear mom and dad's voice for that day of, I did this and this and this today. Love you, miss you, good night.
We should really do that more. And I keep saying that and I keep forgetting to do it. But I know that when my granddaughter picks it up, she says, that's Daddy, that's Mommy, that's Forbes, whoever it is that was doing the recording. And we haven't done one in like a year, I think.
Oh,
we got to get back to that. I should do one tonight.
Yes.
All right. So if people wanted to learn more about Tonies, where would they go?
Yes. us.tonies.com is our website. You can get all the information there. Then we're sold at Walmart, Target, Amazon, Kohl's, bunch of places.
Target for the win. I never go by without buying another one.
Target. We have 4 foot and 8 feet section, so it's chunky section. It's great.
There you go. And how much is a Tony box?
Yeah, so it's $99.99. It comes with one Tony figurine. It's the puppy playtime, so that'll give you like Wheels on the Bus, Baby Shark. Yeah, all the classic hits that everyone knows.
I'm impressing her by every time she says there's like 100 of.
I am impressed.
There's like 100 of them on the table, and I've picked up the right one every time.
You need a part-time job? It's good. Exactly. Amazing.
And then the individual Tonys.
Yes, so they're $14.99 to $20, depending on like license or Tony, like length, etc. But I would say on average $18.
Yeah, they're perfect. And you'll find that some kids will like the music. Some will like something, telling them a story. It depends on the child, but you've got something for everybody. I really, really love this product. So thanks for bringing that to the market.
Appreciate it. Thank you for seeing us.
I can't comment on the kids things too much. I don't have kids, but I have to say, anytime I see technology reaching out and helping a brand new group of people, making their lives better, it just makes me appreciate tech so much more. So for years, I had an ancient car that didn't have CarPlay. And now I have a car that does CarPlay fantastically. And I've been excited to try every new app I can to see what I can do inside of CarPlay. And primarily, I use it for navigation and taking phone calls from work inside the car more easily. Both of them are great ideas. But one thing that came out in January, and I was very excited for this, is that Carrot the weather app made a CarPlay app. I think it was a little bit unexpected. The nice thing about this weather app is it shows you a very detailed radar. The radar image is a screenshot, stationary, it's not animated, but you know what? This is their first attempt of getting a CarPlay app on your car. So I'm not going to give them too much grief about this quite yet. So let's talk a little bit about what this app will do. First of all, as indicated, it will show you a radar. And I'm someone who likes to go out into the woods. I'm a hiker, I'm a birder, and next coming up, I'm going to get into biking. I'd love to have a radar right there on the car so I can see what's happening next. It does like navigation too. So you can say, I want to go from point A to point B, and then it will develop a route or show you more routes and then show you along the way, you're starting out at this time. It's going to take you this many hours, it's this many miles, but a little tiny weather forecast. Expect some snow along the way. And it'll show you some points along the way of where the weather changes. So you can see a little card on each of the points along the way to see what the temperature is, what the weather is at that particular time. So it'll say, I expect you to get to Green Bay at 11:30. And then it'll show me what the temperature of Green Bay is and whether it's snowing, raining, or icing, or whatever it is that it's doing. It's spring. It's bound to do all of the things. So it's a very nice way I can look at the weather radar. The other day I was out bird watching and it was going to rain. And so it was nice because we could have that weather radar app up and then just see how much time did we have before we had to scooch back into the car and get out of there. Along with the navigation, you can, of course, use some of its snarkier comments that are there. I have turned that off because, well, I take Zoom meetings in my car and I wouldn't want anything like that to happen. And it has some control navigation so that I can increase the size of the map, zoom in on the map, or move it around. Maybe where I'm going is so far west, I kind of want to see what's going to happen. And I'll say it like this. I like to have a big radar in my car. I also use the app My Radar, which also has a CarPlay app in the car to give you a radar. For whatever reason, their maps haven't done as good of a job in wintertime. It's because of the sensitivity of the radar. I'm not going to get into it. Carrot always presents the perfect radar. So I have two options for radars, and both of them do almost exactly the same thing, basic navigation and showing you a radar. But I already pay for a Carrot app subscription, and I have the family subscription. So I already have it. I have a few family members with CarPlay in their car, so they can make use of this as well. Their behind-the-scenes technology they use for maps are Apple Maps. There are navigation apps, of course, I like a little bit better because of their sophisticated routing, their ability to avoid certain aspects of the road, and their ability to show on the road where there's traffic stops. If I wasn't really caring that much about my routes, I just want to see the radar, or I want to switch to the radar, this is perfectly fine. It came out in version 6.2. Like I said, that was mid-January, and I'm hoping that there are more features added to this radar navigation system. And just so you know, they require a premium ultra account in order to get this feature, which means you have to be on the highest tier. It also works with the family plan. The premium ultra account is $9.99 a month or $39.99 a year. The family plan is $14.99 a month or $59.99 a year. But again, I do share that with a lot of people. My Radar Pro, which also gives you the ability to put this into CarPlay as well, costs $6.99 a year, which is just a simple radar app, which is just fine. But it's not as sophisticated as Carrot, and I do like Carrot a little bit better. Also, the Carrot widgets for other purposes are a little bit better. So I feel like the Carrot is a better deal than My Radar. My Radar has some piloting types of features involved if you're into piloting, so maybe it's better for you. I hope this is a first start. I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm hoping for more detailed where it comes to wind or precipitation amounts or snow amounts. I would love to see an animated radar map. And boy, I would love to see the Apple navigation features come into Carrot if they could strike up some kind of a deal. But this is a first great start, and I feel now well prepared for my spring adventures where you're not really sure what kind of weather you're going to get. Is it going to be a tornado? Is it going to be a snowstorm? Or is it going to be a snownado? whatever happens, I feel prepared that I have CarPlay in my car showing me what is going to be the weather coming up in my next location. Did you know that Allison creates all these podcasts at podfeet.com as a labor of love? She's been doing this for free for almost 20 years, and I've learned a lot. I can't even believe how different my life is because I have listened to this podcast. I know how expensive it is to put together a podcast, and she's been doing it without ads, without website funnels, without memberships, all those things. So I appreciate the fact that she keeps it free for everybody. But if you've been enjoying her content for a month, a year, 20 years, please consider supporting her work by going to podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeet.com/donate. I appreciate it, and I know she would appreciate it too. She has really changed my life. All right, that's going to wrap us up for the week. You can find me on any podcasting app you like, Jill from the North Woods, or you can look for me at YouTube, also at Jill from the North Woods. Next week, you get to hear from Bart. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Did you know that you can email Allison at podfeet.com anytime you like? If you have questions, suggestions, send them on over. Remember that everything good starts at podfeet.com. You can follow Allison on Mastodon at podfeet.com/Mastodon. If you like to listen to the podcast on YouTube, you can go to podfeet.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack. You can talk to me there, Allison, Steve, and all the lovely Nosilla castaways. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon, or you can do a one-time donation at podfeet.com/donate. You can use Apple Pay or any credit card, or you can use podfeet.com/PayPal for a one-time donation. And if you want to join the fun, and it is fun, of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live. Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time. You can join all of us who are having a good time watching Allison put her podcast together while we chit-chat about all the other things. Sometimes you even get to see Allison's dog. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.